All right, what's happening, everybody? Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON on this Thursday. Beautiful day outside. Hope everybody gets an opportunity to get outside. The sun is shining outside, man. It's good. Now, today is going to be, weather-wise, a day that is more common for this time of year. What do I mean by that? You know, we've been getting some 80-degree temperature over the last couple of days. And now, today is more in the 70s. This is kind of like perfect weather outside for me. I don't mind 80-degree temperature, but when it's 70, man, this is perfect. And reminds me of California. When I lived in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, their summers would be 70 degrees, man. It would be sunny outside, and beautiful blue skies, and 70 degrees, 75 degrees, man. And you could just do everything. You know, you could hang outside, you could work out, go jogging, bike ride, do whatever you wanted to do. Not too hot, not too chilly. Put a jacket on if you wanted to, you know, and I like that, man. Didn't have to wear shorts. You could wear shorts if you wanted to. That was the kind of weather that I dug. All right, a lot going on in the news. Today, the Department of Justice, from what I am understanding, and it's hard for me to try to understand this, Department of Justice is trying to, I think they're doing a deposition, opening up a case, an investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the young lady who accused Donald Trump of inappropriate behavior, maybe rape. Let me look this up again. And trying to see if she perjured herself. This is the president and his very thin skin, as we know, going after people who have gone after him. As you know, E. Jean Carroll went after President Trump and received judgment in terms of money from Donald Trump. But of course, he's not happy about it. I'm not understanding how the Department of Justice is involved in a case that involves Donald Trump's personal life. This has nothing to do with him as president of the United States. This is something that E. Jean Carroll accused Donald Trump of when he was citizen Donald Trump. And I'm just tired of this president every single day abusing the office of the presidency, and nobody says anything. Republicans, members of Congress who are charged with the responsibility of maintaining some sense of dignity about our Constitution, that should be doing their job. Democrats, of course, will scream about this and how inappropriate this behavior is, but without the help of Republicans, nothing is going to happen. Nothing can be done. This body and branch of government that is supposed to be responsible for checking the president of the United States is not doing anything, just sitting idle and just watching this man continue to make a mockery of our Constitution. We're talking about, and it's really fascinating because, you know, we're coming up on 250th year of celebrating our country, our Constitution, our democracy, our republic, whatever you want to call it. And this has got to be one of the few times in 250 years that we have a president who is really challenging the integrity of our Constitution. And when I say challenge it, I don't mean just challenging it in terms of, you know, and which he is doing, seeing how far he can go with his presidential powers, which that is one thing that this president is doing, but challenging, like, and maybe challenge isn't the word. He's ignoring the Constitution. He is basically, as president of the United States, doing what he wants to do with the office of the presidency. And, we've done all of this talk over the years about how good our Constitution is and how it's kind of stood up to the test of time and it's held up to all challenges that it has had over the 250 years. And honestly, here we are in the 250th year, and it's not holding up at all. This amazing document that we have heard lawmakers talk about over the years. How amazing our Constitution. We have the most amazing Constitution in the world. Well, guess what, guys? It means absolutely nothing today. Our Constitution, this brilliant document that was written and signed by, our forefathers, all of them were white, so I don't even know what legitimacy that gives the Constitution. But this amazing document that has been bragged about our entire lives, the holy grail of our republic, has not held up, guys. Maybe it wasn't as great as we thought it was. I need to get a Constitution lawyer on and talk about this. Because, we like to brag about how great our Constitution is and has been over the years. And look, the system of checks and balances, it works. It works, everybody. It works. And no, bull crap, because it's not working. It's not working. It is failing. Our Constitution is failing because it didn't consider the fact that we were going to have members of Congress who are not going to be stewards and responsible to make sure that the system of checks and balances were going to be executed and not allow for an authoritarian president to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And guess what? That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Failure, failure, failure. Our Constitution has failed. Ha! What do you think about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right. Let's get on with today's show. I'll run everything down to you when we come back. We got a full show, of course. I'm not sure who's coming on, but you got me. So that means the show is full. Full of something. It's full of me. And you know what that means. 3 hours of me. Anyway, I'll run down today's show when we come back. Shaper's on the board. She is DJing and taking your calls today. Annette Flournoy with WVON News to 1 o'clock, and then Logan Page after that. Until then, it's me and you at 591-1690. Matt McGill Show. Get up on it, everybody.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Smart conversations with smart people makes us smarter. And that's exactly what you get on Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams. This isn't surface level talk. This is where authors become experts, where books become blueprints, and where ideas are challenged, not just discussed. From Colin Woodard on Nations Apart, to Gloria J. Brown Marshall breaking down the history of protests in America, to Gary Tyler sharing a story of resilience and redemption in stitching freedom. These are not interviews. These are conversations that matter, because every book has a story and every story has a deeper meaning. Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams on Bond TV. You can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV+, the WVON app, and VON.TV.
Drinking enough water helps your kidneys function properly and supports your body's natural filtration system. And that's your healthy reminder.
This healthy reminder is sponsored in part by the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois.
Hey, Chicago, it's Henry Cheatham, your Magnolia Blues man. Chicago Blues Fest is back, and WVON is bringing the soul of the city with it. Join your favorite WVON personalities June 5th through the 7th at Millennium Park for this event. Friday night, we're celebrating 55 years of Alligator Records with tribute to Coco Taylor, Lonnie Brooks, Hound Dog Taylor, and Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Saturday, we're bringing 75 years of Chicago blues to the main stage, featuring Chicago's own Billy Branch, Kenny Neal, and Ronnie Baker Brooks. And we'll close out the weekend on Sunday with the legendary Taj Mahal and their Phantom Blues Band. A special tribute to women in blues featuring Lynn Jordan and the Shivers. Melody Angel, and Deidre Farr. And keep listening for a chance to win an exclusive VIP Blues Fest experience. For more information, visit WVON.com/events. Brought to you by Mayor Brandon Johnson and DKs.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Come here,
All right, we're back. 591-1690. I can tell you this much. Phone lines are wide open right now because it's at the beginning of the show. I guess I better look at my rundown to see before I move on and start doing my own show, because you know I will. I better take a look and see what I do have a guest coming up at 12:30, Robert White, council member in DC. He's going to come on. This story again, the president, having his Department of Justice do whatever, and departments of government do whatever he wants them to do. Robert's going to talk to us about teen takeovers that are happening in Washington, D.C. See, we've been talking about them in Chicago, and now we find out that they've been going on around the country in other cities. I know I heard in New Jersey. I thought there was some going on in Houston, but we had Michaela on with us yesterday from Houston, and she said, no, nothing's happening down there. But in D.C., they are. And a U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who you guys know from Fox News, is considering prosecuting the parents there, something that we talk about all the time. What does that look like? What would it look like? I know you guys are in favor of it. I'm not sure how the councilman who's going to come on with us at 12:35, how he feels about it. But I know the majority of you guys are all for it. We're tired of seeing children out of control. I think what people are tired of is seeing children behaving like there are no consequences to their behavior. And we know better than that. And the only reason why kids act like that is because they don't have parents who are threatening them and telling them that there are consequences to your behavior, like our parents did us growing up, right? We understood that we just couldn't go out in the streets and do what we wanted to do. We knew we had our parents always leering over our shoulder, whether they were actually there. We felt like they were actually there, right? Even though we knew our parents weren't always, right behind us looking over us, we felt like they were, because they put that kind of fear in us. These kids don't have that today. And is that one of the reasons why the teen takeovers happen? No, there are a lot of reasons why they're happening. But when we see the kids that are the ones that are acting up and doing whatever the hell they want to do, now that's a whole different story. And we'll talk to the councilman about that. So that's coming up at 12:30. So if you have some questions or comments about that, you can do that as well. The Supreme Court today ruled for a black man. That's right. The Supreme Court did. I can't wait to read this story. Black man was on death row in Mississippi, of all states. What? Maybe we have overcome, everybody. This inmate claims there was racial bias in the makeup of the jury that convicted him and put him on death row. By a 5-4 vote, the justices sided with Terry Pitchford, who was sentenced to death for his role in the killing of a grocery store owner. I'm quoting now by Brett Kavanaugh. Was he the swing vote? Well, you needed, let's see, if it was 5-4, that means 2 conservative justices swung. They're swingers. And this is according to Justice Kavanaugh. In this case, whether due to confusion, oversight, an overly hurried jury selection process, or some other cause, things broke down. According to Brett Kavanaugh and Chief Justice John Roberts also sided with Kavanaugh, and of course the 3 liberal justices that we have: Ketanji, right, Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan. Wow. That's an interesting case. Now, here in the middle of Donald Trump, in the middle of MAGA, in the middle of all of this is probably a story that we would not have expected to read. There were 11 white jurors and 1 black juror in a trial with similarities to that of another black man on Mississippi's death row, whose conviction the high court overturned 7 years ago. So this is not the first time they've done this. Okay. It's unclear what happens next in Pitchford's case. Justice Neil Gorsuch, who dissented, suggested the state still could argue Pitchford's conviction should be sustained if his conviction is overturned. The state could seek to retry them, and I'm sure if this is a murder case, I'm sure they would, wouldn't they? I mean, was this a biased jury in the sentencing, or was this a biased jury in the trial and prevented Mr. Pitchford from getting a fair trial? That's the question. If he didn't get a fair trial, then by all means, this decision needs to be thrown out, and he needs to have a jury of his peers. How does a black man have a jury of his peers if there's only 1 black person on the jury? Right? So can you, when you're picking a jury and you're in Mississippi and a black man is up for murdering, and I'm assuming this person that he murdered was not black, so I'm assuming they were white. Does his defense attorneys, number one, his attorneys should be the main ones screaming from high heavens that this isn't right, that we don't have a jury that represents my client's peers. It's unclear what happens next, so we'll see. I'm quoting now Joseph Perkovich, who argued the case for Mr. Pitchford. He said Mr. Pitchford is now entitled to a fair trial in the state court. Doug Evans, a now retired prosecutor with a history of dismissing black jurors. Boy, I'm going to tell you, to be black and live in the South has got to be rough these days. To be black, to live in Mississippi. You know what? Chicagoans, we face our own racial discrimination in Chicago. There's no question about it. But we've got black people up here with power. We got black politicians. We have black judges. We have a infrastructure up here that will, and you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, provide for more justice than maybe what our brothers and sisters are getting down south. Some of you might disagree with that. I don't know. But in the South, brother, that is stacked, man. In Trump's America, to live in the South, in red states like Mississippi and Alabama, Louisiana, we already see what they're doing with the remapping down there. Florida is not too far behind Tennessee. What a great place Tennessee is, man. Just a beautiful state. And Nashville is an amazing city. Memphis is like, that's like little Chicago, unfortunately, in some respects. But hell, man, it's got to be tough living down there. Doug Evans, a now retired prosecutor with a history of dismissing black jurors for discriminatory reasons, had excused 4 other black people at Pitchford's trial. Black people make up more than 37% of Mississippi's population. So would it be fair to say that a jury should contain 37% black people in it? The Supreme Court ruled 40 years ago in Batson v. Kentucky that jurors could not be excused from service because of their race, and set up a system by which trial judges could evaluate claims of discrimination and the race-neutral explanations by prosecutors. We're gonna have to follow this case. We'll have to put Kim McGowan on it, our lawyer, our legal correspondent for the Matt McGill show, and find out what's going to happen because this case, obviously, the state is more than likely going to retry this gentleman. I can't imagine they're just going to let in Mississippi. No way. You think they're going to let this go? No way. Not on your life. Not in Donald Trump's America. Are you kidding me? All right. When we return, guys, teen takeover has been a big conversation in Chicago. Robert White, councilman in Washington, D.C. Guess what? They've got teen takeovers happening in D.C. What are they doing about it? And we'll tell you what Janine Pirro, who's a U.S. District attorney there, U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, what she is suggesting, going after the parents. You like that idea, don't you? All right, we'll talk about that with the councilman when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
Shaping up to be a nice day in Chicago as temperatures climb into the low 70s. Good afternoon. I'm in Flanoy, and here's what's happening. The Chicago-based company Groupon is cutting nearly 400 jobs. The company plans to make a major investment in building an AI infrastructure. According to a SEC filing, the move will be saving the company nearly $25 million annually. According to reports, Groupon plans to invest up to half of this year's projected savings into that infrastructure. Well, Mayor Brandon Johnson is meeting with Chicago native Pope Leo the 14th in Rome today. The mayor is among a 50-person delegation, including several Chicago aldermen and faith leaders. Perry Williams has more on the delegation traveling with the mayor.
The mayor arrived in Rome this morning. He says he won't be empty-handed when he sits with the pontiff.
He'll have a Cubs hat. He'll have a Cubs jersey. If I can find these Cubs socks, I'm going to bring those. You know, the real gift, I think, is going to be just him knowing that Chicago is incredibly proud and that we love him.
Mayor Johnson has a delegation with him that includes City Treasurer, Rainbow Push leader Yusuf Jackson, and CTU President Stacey Davis Gates. Johnson's office says the delegates on the trip are not using taxpayer dollars to cover their cost. I'm Perry Williams.
Tomorrow, Johnson is expected to meet with the mayor of Rome. The trip is funded and led by World Business Chicago, an economic development agency in the city. Mayor Johnson is set to be back home in Chicago on Saturday. Well, before leaving Chicago, the mayor responded to recent teen takeovers in the city that led to more than 50 arrests over the Memorial Day weekend. He says he does not believe that laws holding parents accountable or a stricter curfew will bring about real solutions.
What we have seen, though, in other places, these aggressive tactics have not necessarily deterred these gatherings from taking place. In fact, in too many instances, they ultimately exacerbate the situation. So
Alderman Brandon Alford and Brian Hopkins, that is, Brian Hopkins of the 2nd Ward, is among the group of council members who want to use a law that classifies contributing to the delinquency of a minor as a class action misdemeanor. They're working on drafting an ordinance to apply this law to parents of minors who are caught out past curfew at an illegal gathering. This comes after one officer was hit in the face by a minor, and 5 police officers were hurt when hit by a car. Well, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says goodbye in Springfield ahead of his retirement. The 81-year-old Illinois Democrat gave his farewell address yesterday at a rare joint session of the Illinois General Assembly. He spoke about one of his career highlights, the DREAM Act, which was designed to provide a legal pathway to citizenship for people brought to the U.S. as children.
I'm still committed to the DREAM Act, and I hope that you'll join me in that commitment. It was a bipartisan measure, and it should be a bipartisan measure. These DACA people are serving America in so many ways.
He also warned lawmakers about a growing political divide. Now, Durbin announced last year that he will not be running for re-election after serving nearly 30 years in the U.S. Senate. After winning the primary, Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton is now the Democratic nominee to succeed U.S. Senator Dick Durbin. And as we get closer to the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center, the foundation is holding special tours for some very special Chicagoans. The latest included 3 women who are all 100 years old and older. Yesterday's private grand tour started with a separate limousine ride for each. Now, the women are part of the Club 100, a foundation that creates special experiences for seniors. Alicia Evans turned 100 on May 7th. Mary Lee Stigger is 105, and Ruth Pearson is 100. The Presidential Center opens with an invitation-only grand opening ceremony on the Juneteenth holiday. And on June 19th, it opens to the public with festivities happening through the 21st for those lucky enough to have pre-purchased tickets. That's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. WVON News Time, 1235.
That cannabis charge from years ago, it could still be costing you jobs, housing, and opportunities you don't even know you're missing. But there's a way out. New Leaf, Illinois is a free state-funded program helping people clear old cannabis and other eligible records. You've already paid the price. Don't let your old record cost you even more. Call 872-NEW-LEAF or visit newleafillinois.org today. New Leaf, Illinois, it's your fresh start.
It's Rufus Williams.
Mayor Brandon Johnson.
I'm going to upset you right now, and I'm looking forward to a Cubs World Series.
That upsets Titus. Doesn't bother me, not at all. I'm from that space. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, there.
Sorry, brother.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church, tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
You got me hypnotized with the things you do every night.
We are back, everybody. I think I'm giving away some tickets today to the Blues Fest. I haven't looked, but I may be. So I'm not going to tell you if I'm giving them away or not. You're going to have to wait around and see if I'm giving some away. Although you do know the Blues Fest is coming up. It starts next week, Thursday night, June 4th. We're going to be at the Ramova Theater over in Bridgeport, kicking it off. And then Friday through Sunday, we'll be out in Grant Park, the WVON setup. You'll see us out there. Come on out. All of the personalities, your favorite personalities, will be there to greet you and have a good time. All right, teen takeovers. Big story here in Chicago, but apparently it's going on in a couple other cities, namely Washington, D.C. Robert White is a member of the city council there in D.C. He joins us right now. Brother, thank you for coming on the show. Happy Thursday to you.
Thanks, madam. I'm glad to be with you.
So you guys are having some teen takeovers, right? See, we've been going through this in Chicago, and it has grabbed a lot of attention from everybody here, the media, and of course, people that leave here. It's a big political story. People are asking the mayor to do something or questioning whether the mayor should be doing something about it. And this issue of parents being responsible and held accountable is at the top of the conversation list. Now, I see in D.C. that Janine Pirro, of course, U.S. attorney there, has done what? She is suggesting prosecuting parents, holding parents accountable, and I guess using some federal resources as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's on top of the mayor has pushed, the mayor of D.C. has pushed a youth curfew. And now Janine Pirro is saying, I want to substitute parents under that. And it is easy to do something about a problem, but it's not always easy to solve a problem. And one of my frustrations is I hear from mothers all the time who are saying, Councilmember White, I'm trying to reach my kid. My kid is in crisis. They're not listening to me. So if that kid does something and we lock up mom, what have we solved, right? Have we made that situation better or worse? And then what the young people say to me is, we gather together because we want to be around friends. And we built a city that doesn't really include young people. And they are just as pissed off about the few kids causing problems as the adults are. They just want somewhere to gather with their friends. So we've got to be in problem solving mode.
Now, has there been any violence attached to these teen gatherings in DC? Because we've had some problems here in Chicago.
We've had some violence. One time there was a shooting. I don't believe anybody was hit. And then we have destruction of property. But we're talking about hundreds of young people and a small few of them breaking laws that already exist. And so when folks say we need to pass more laws to stop this from happening, I'm like, well, the laws already prevent you from firing a gun. Laws already prevent you from, breaking stuff up. So hold accountable the young people who need to be held accountable. But the other young people communicating with their actions, saying we need somewhere to go that's safe. Adults need to be responsive to that. And I see all this talk about holding young people accountable and parents accountable, but I don't hear enough talk about holding lawmakers and city officials accountable for creating space for these young people.
So what do you feel that you guys can do, lawmakers, and what are your colleagues in the city council saying?
Yeah. Well, we're at a disadvantage because the mayor really wants to focus in DC on curfews, which is not going to help. What I see in the council is a broad desire to extend recreation center hours, to create, teen programming, and the young people have shown they'll show up. So Department of Parks and Rec in DC finally did a teen event a few weeks ago. Teams were there in droves. They ended up having to stop young people from going in. They showed up, and what their presence showed was that's exactly what they're looking for. So we need to do those things. The movie theaters that I used to go to, most of them are closed. The skating rinks that my parents went to, they're closed. The under 21 clubs that I went to, they're closed. So if we don't create a new space for these young people, what do we think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And then we say, well, we're going to arrest them and their parents. You have not solved the problem.
Mm-hmm. No, you know what? It's got to be tough being a kid these days because we've been talking about this all week, and I think about and thought about my childhood, and we hung out at shopping malls, right? We hung out at like you mentioned, skating rinks or movie theaters or going to the lakefront here in Chicago in the summertime was always a big thing for us to do as teenagers. And maybe on occasion we had some issues with law enforcement. There may be a time or two where kids got together in big numbers, and so law enforcement kind of gathered around. But it was a totally different relationship between young people and law enforcement back then. We didn't challenge cops back then, man.
Yeah,
I mean, law enforcement, we were growing up. So, now you see, these kids, they challenge authority a little more today. So then that kind of adds to the problem, right? But these kids are kind of, in a tight position, a tough position, because there's not a lot for them to do. And here's what we do know. Kids want to be around kids. They want to be around each other, right? And without having these places to go, I'm just wondering, brother, if the cat is out the bag, if we've turned these teen takeovers into a thing now, because I think they may have started out of necessity, and I think here in Chicago, they've become a thing. The teen takeover has become a thing to do. And so now I think you see these kids kind of organizing them, and they're where initially they may have been organized out of necessity. Now it's kind of organized out of, hey, let's do a takeover, man. We're going to be on the news. Everybody's shooting a video, their viral video. It's a thing now. It's they know it's going to get attention. They know it's going to bring about law enforcement. They know it's going to bring about us talking about it in the media and stuff. And I'm wondering, are you sensing that same thing in DC?
To an extent, yes. But again, young people are finding their space, and as adults, we have to help them find a space. And I think in DC, most people, including lawmakers, are okay with, let's say, a teen curfew if that is part of something bigger, right? A teen curfew that's part of a strategy, but a curfew by itself, and then bringing in police to enforce it, having Janine Pirro, the U.S. attorney under Trump, enforce it, then we have only created more problem. But give me a teen curfew and extended rec hours and more sports leagues, and, arts programs. So it's a curfew and I supported the curfew when the mayor came and said, "Hey, we need this as a temporary emergency measure" a year ago. But a year later, when all you got is still a curfew, I can't be okay with that because we've not done anything to address the underlying issue.
Did the curfew work at all? And what time? Because
No,
here in Chicago,
no.
they're debating like a rolling curfew. They want, and the mayor has opposed that. So it's really interesting that our mayors are kind of like on two opposite ends of this conversation. The city council is kind of proposing a curfew. They want to give law enforcement the ability. I think they're calling it like a snap curfew. They can call a curfew in a short period of time and enforce it, right? Maybe a 2-hour window, because they feel very confident that they can track these teen takeovers just through social media, right? Because these kids connecting with each other and communicating with each other through social media. And so the cops feel like they know that they're going to happen and they know when and where. And so they want to have the ability to call a curfew and then be able to enforce the curfew. And the mayor has vetoed that idea. Have you, the curfews that your mayor imposed, have they worked? Did you guys see any evidence of them working?
No, they didn't work. In fact, people always point to these examples of a teen takeover or youth issue and say, "This is the reason we need a curfew." And those are things that happen while the curfews were in effect. So like we have evidence that it doesn't work, and curfews have a role to play. It's not the whole thing. Otherwise, I feel like I'm watching one of these old Looney Tune commercials where like like it's kind of silly. You're trying to whack this problem, but without the right tools, and you keep getting outsmarted by these kids. So, like, at some point, we got to listen to these young people.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what's going to happen here in Chicago. Here's one thing that's interesting, right? I do think that the mayor is going to pay the price no matter what. And it's really interesting because the mayor is really trying to stand up for the kids, right? He doesn't want to have, and especially black kids. He doesn't want the curfew because he feels like it's going to disproportionately affect black kids, right? And yet the kids are going to continue to have the takeovers, and it's going to impact him. Excuse me, it's going to impact him negatively. And so it's interesting how he's trying to actually side with children and say, hey, they need places to go. And then this strategy of his is really going to backfire on him politically. He's going to pay the political cost for it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how this is going to turn out. Anything else? Well, hold on. Let's take a quick break. You got a couple more minutes?
I do got to run soon.
No,
I got
go
to
ahead.
get to a senior home. Yeah.
No, do that.
Yeah.
And Brother White, we will get you next time. I appreciate you always, man, spending some time with us, because I think there's a lot that I think we should explore in terms of, it's interesting. We got Chicago, we have a black mayor. DC, we have a black mayor, and kind of dealing with some of the same issues. And I'm just curious how it's going to spin out, right? I understand in DC, because of the proximity to our being our nation's capital, there's some nuances there that play out a little differently than in Chicago. But I'm glad we have you as a resource, brother, to talk about what's going on in DC, man.
Yeah, well, please have me back. I appreciate it.
Look forward to it. All right.
All right,
That's
brother.
Robert White,
Thanks.
council member in Washington, D.C. Let's take a break here and open up phone lines at 591-1690. Matt McGill Show. Thanks, brother.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey, baby. I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us
Mr. Big Stuff, tell me.
on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
It's DL Hughley.
If it weren't for the Black Panthers, American children wouldn't have free breakfast. Now, I don't know many groups that are only bad that feed children. The Klan only gave us burning cross. I guess you could warm your breakfast up on one.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Reducing sodium in your diet can help lower blood pressure and reduce strain on your kidneys. And that's your healthy reminder.
This healthy reminder is sponsored in part by the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. And if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
The movement for repair is growing, from city halls to parliaments and around the world, from Chicago to Cape Town, from Evanston to the UN. I'm Robin Ruth Simmons.
And I'm Cam Howard. Together we're bringing you Reparations Now, where we talk power, policy, and progress, local, national, and international.
It's about justice.
It's about repair. It's about time.
Reparations Now, because justice cannot wait.
Reparations Now, Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on WVON 1690.
Reparations Now.
Back to Matt McGill on the Talk of
Now,
Chicago,
nigga, now,
1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. 591-1690. Thanks to brother Robert White there. It's good to have, some voices coming from different cities. Man, this show is all about being black and living in America and what that's like. And whether you're living in Chicago or D.C., we've turned you on yesterday to our sister from Houston, H-Town down there. We got to get us a better contact in Los Angeles so that we can talk to our people in Los Angeles about what's happening out there. They got a big mayor's race coming up. Mayor Karen Bass is going up. She's going up against a reality show personality or some guy that's really, only in LA would somebody like this be running for mayor and be seriously considered, right? And against somebody as experienced in politics as Karen Bass. Look, I know she's got her problems out there. The fires are something that's just going to hang over her head. I wish the sister well because I know her heart's in the right place and that she's quality. She is elite, no question about it. But, we've heard from people down in Louisiana and everything that's going on down there with the remapping and our brother Calvin Duncan having his challenges with his position. In fact, Sonia, we probably need to follow up on that. Over this last year, we've talked to our brother. In fact, you know what? Let me give him a call. Maybe he'll come on the show today. Our brother James Braxton Peterson in Philadelphia and WURD. We need to talk to him about what's happening in Philadelphia. If they have any teen takeovers going on there, which they may, and we just don't know about it. And, America is different as it might be city to city because there are different circumstances, just like I was talking about with Brother White there in Washington, D.C. The fact that they are the host city to our nation's capital allows for somebody like Jeanine Pirro to be involved in this. Of course, we already know the mayor had acceded some power to the federal government and to Donald Trump when it came to ICE there. And she's been heavily criticized for that, but I still want to give the sister the benefit of the doubt. in that she's trying to make decisions that she feels is in the best interest of the city. And that's tough, man. Being mayor, let me tell you this, being mayor of Chicago is a losing proposition. I don't know what it's like being mayor in D.C. or Houston or New York. I mean, we see what our brother Zoran Mamdani is going through in New York, and that can't be easy, being mayor of a city like that. But being mayor of Chicago is a losing proposition, brother. That's a losing proposition. And so no matter what you do, you're going to have half of the city mad at you. I mean, gone are the days, even Mayor Daley, who got elected over and over and over and over again, thanks to many of you out there that don't want to give this mayor a chance at a second term, but you felt fit to give Mayor Daley an opportunity to steal money over and over and over again, enrich his friends, let them actually, let me take that back, because that's not true. The mayor didn't steal it, but he kind of didn't notice the fact that all of his buddies were robbing the city blind. You guys thought it was a good idea to elect him over and over again. Okay, I'm with you, I guess. But that's just the reality of where we are. Brother Hall, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brother Matt. How you doing, man? Brother Matt?
Doing good, brother. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Doing good. I put the mic down when I put the calls on. I'm doing good.
Good. Well, first of all, let me just give kudos to you lately and not trying to get on you, brother. I'm just letting you know there's a number of us been listening to you, and certainly you've been tearing it off in terms of stepping up to the plate, being that host that we all know who you are. You know, so we thank you for that. But we have some differences when it comes to a few things you said today, at least I do. And one of the things you were saying that the South is rough. I bet it's hard for a black down in the South. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what you said. And I wanted to push back on that a little bit if I could. Jesse Jackson carried the South, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know if I would say he carried the South. He did well in the South,
when I
right?
say he carried the South, most of those southern states, that's where he got his vote out of.
I mean, that's where he got the majority of his votes. There's no question about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that the north of many of these urban areas are in the trick game. And just like right now, you were sitting back talking and saying that you needed to call this guy and that guy from these different other states, and you had that type of outreach. But it should come from the Democratic Party, brother. Should be saying the same thing you're talking about. We got a major race in Atlanta. And we're not talking about that? That's something we should be talking about. Why? Because we can make that happen, right? And so that's just one of the things I wanted to throw at you, Matt. If I could, right quick, what bothers me, and I was out with my wife not long ago, and I said, I'm going to take a little ride around and just see how this is working. In the third ward, the infrastructure that's being done in that ward from our old neighborhood, Matt, where you and I stayed, all the way down to 43rd, and then going over to Cottage Grove, back over again to Wabash, they were all brown people, brother. So I started to call, but maybe I'll leave it up to WVON to get a call out to her to see if she'll come on and let us know whether we're going to be a part of that infrastructure and if there's any more
when you say
she'll be doing.
When you say brown people, you're talking about I assume you're talking about our Latino brothers and sisters. I
would assume that they're Latino. I know they brown.
But when you say infrastructure, I mean, what are you talking about on job sites?
We're talking about sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, that type of thing. We know that ain't no major infrastructure coming through here. Now, I know over there by Holy Angels, she's going to do a slab or two of infrastructure there. But when it comes down to this other stuff, they do a little patching. Let me give you an example on that. If you go from 55 coming east to where the McDonald's is, getting off at 26th Street, by that McDonald's, right by McCormick Place.
Brother Hall, hold on. Let me put you on hold because I want to let you finish your comment, but I got a break here at the top of the hour for news here. 59116 ain't got more phone calls. I got more phone lines open. But hold on, brother James Peterson from WRD. So hold on, Brother Hall. I'll let you finish your comment. And Brother James Peterson is going to join us when we return from this break here. Our brother from WURD when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
Happy Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Durbin warns of deep political divisions. Mayor Johnson set to meet with Pope Leo today. Man released without charges after deadly shooting of Tilden High School student. Report shows individuals have 80% control of health in old age. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station. 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Returning to the U.S. from African countries impacted by Ebola have their choice of 4 designated entry points. Former President Biden is suing the DOJ. But first, here's BIN News Now.
Vice President J.D. Vance says cracking down on government fraud is critical during an event at the White House.
We're protecting the American taxpayers who shouldn't have their money stolen by fraudsters. And of course, we're protecting the people who need these services.
He revealed investigators uncovered $20 billion in schemes, mostly tied to healthcare, while leading the White House anti-fraud task force. Houston Congressman Al Green's long tenure appears to be ending. He lost the Democratic primary for Texas's new 18th district to fellow Representative Christian Menifee after redistricting eliminated Green's longtime seat. Menifee now faces Republican Ronald Whitfield in November. And civil rights leader Clarence B. Jones, who helped write Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, has died at 95. Jones was a key organizer of the 1963 March on Washington and later a respected lawyer and advocate. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
They're negotiating on fumes. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
President Trump says the U.S. is not quite satisfied with the deal proposed by Iran. During a cabinet meeting at the White House, he warned that if a deal isn't reached with Iran, then the U.S. will have to finish the job. Trump went on to say Iran is negotiating on fumes. He again reiterated that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon and said this is something he's doing for the world, not just the U.S. JFK International, one of 4 U.S. airports named as a designated entry point for passengers arriving from African countries impacted by Ebola. Richard Hatchett, CEO of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, says there's no vaccine for this strain of the virus.
We have less experience with this strain. It's occurring in an environment that proved really, really challenging in 2018, 2019. When we had a vaccine already ready.
The CDC is still allowing some people from the Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda, where Ebola is spreading unchecked, to enter the U.S., but only at those designated sites. They are JFK in New York, Dulles in Virginia, Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta, and Houston's George Bush Intercontinental. Secretary of State Marco Rubio making it clear that we cannot and will not allow any case of Ebola to come into the United States. He says there will be enhanced Ebola screenings at those airports that include a questionnaire about travel history and any symptoms. Former President Biden is suing the Justice Department to block the release of audio recordings and transcripts from interviews with his biographer. The lawsuit filed this week in federal court seeks to stop the department from releasing the materials to the House Judiciary Committee and the Conservative Heritage Foundation next month. The recordings were used during former special counsel Robert Hur's investigation into Biden's handling of classified documents, though Hur declined to bring charges. DOJ officials say the recordings allegedly show concerns about Biden's mental acuity dating back to 2016. Biden's team argues the release is politically motivated. The U.S. Coast Guard is reopening the search for a Michigan woman who has been missing since she fell overboard in the Bahamas. Last month, NBC News reports a U.S. official familiar with the investigation says the search for Lynette Hooker is resuming because GPS data from the boat she and her husband were on appears to contradict the account of his whereabouts when she vanished. Brian Hooker's account led investigators to search in the wrong area of the Sea of Abaco while they were looking for the 55-year-old woman. The Coast Guard is requesting permission from Bahamian authorities to allow divers to search the waters once again. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Black Americans are at higher risk for stroke. Know the warning signs: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Call 911 immediately.
Your health, our community, for WVON.
This is Rufus Williams, and I've got something special for you. I am proud to announce that we're launching the Rufus Williams Travel Club in conjunction with Advantage International. Our first trip, we're staying in the United States and heading to one of the most stunning destinations for culture to cuisine. Join us October 8th through 12th as we explore the charm, the beauty, and the history of Charleston, South Carolina. This isn't your typical getaway. We're walking through history and standing where our stories began. From the roots of Gullah Geechee culture to the International African American Museum, from cobblestone streets to waterfront views. This is more than a trip. It's a cultural vibe. To find out more, visit WVON.com and click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner. And keep listening for more details. The Rufus Williams Travel Club will turn curiosity into understanding, one destination at a time. We are WVON.
I'm Lori Smith. This week on Meeting the Moment, when does storytelling uplift people and when does it exploit them? I'm sitting down with Perry Ermer of the DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center and Dr. Twin Green of the Link and Option Center for a powerful conversation about human-centered narratives, ethics, and responsibility in storytelling. Meeting the Moment, powered by the Chicago Community Trust, Saturday at 12 noon, right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Violence and trauma can leave lasting wounds, including mental wounds. This Saturday on the Community Health Focus Hour, join host Franklin Cozy Gay for a special mental health segment, Violence and Trauma Prevention. Part 1, an important conversation on how trauma impacts individuals, families, and communities, and what prevention, support, and healing could look like. Listen live on WVON and Facebook. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of U Chicago Medicine at the forefront.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to, WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
All right, we are back. You already know WVON is your ticket to the 2026 Blues Fest happening in Millennium Park. WVON is going to be there for opening night at the Ramova Theater. Then we switch over to the park for the rest of the weekend. Come on out and join us. I'm going to give away a pair of tickets for the Friday Blues Festival celebration of Alligator Records, and it's 55 years of providing the world with some amazing music. That's going to be quite the celebration, featuring Ronnie Baker Brooks live. So keep it right here. I'm going to be giving away a pair of tickets live on air. We gave away so many tickets yesterday. It was ridiculous. We're going to do it again today. All right. You don't want to miss that. All right. My brother, Dr. James Peterson, hosts Evening Words on Philadelphia's WURD, just like WVON. It's a legendary Black-owned radio station, keeping the people of Philadelphia connected to Black culture. Brother Peterson is also an author, authored several books, and he's in touch with young people and hip hop, and which now I say hip hop as if that's representing young people. I guess hip hop might be old.
A lot of old heads in hip hop, man. You know that, bro.
I might be saying the wrong thing there, but this issue of teen takeovers, we've had teen takeovers here in Chicago. I just got off the phone with a city council person in Washington, D.C. They've had them there. I know I've seen or read that they're having them in New Jersey. Are you guys having them in Philadelphia?
So we not in the same way that you're seeing them in Chicago, Matt. We have a long history of this, though, with flash mobs and folks in Chicago may not be as familiar with this, but there's a lot of ATV and dirt bike riding in large groups of teens on major streets in the city of Philadelphia, particularly in the summer. So we definitely have our challenges with teen gatherings, even though they're not exactly what we're seeing in Chicago and DC right now. Matt, I was actually in Chicago last weekend for the American Literature Association conference, and I was eating at a restaurant. I think it's called Grill something, not too far from the Palmer House, Hilton, downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And the waitress there was talking our ears off about these teen takeovers, because she was explaining that from her perspective, this is a maybe close to middle-aged Black woman. She was just explaining that these things were unruly and that they're disrupting all these sort of traditional events, and as she was talking, I started to see it a little bit differently, Matt. Now, granted, I don't encourage anybody to break the law, and I understand kind of like how nuisance culture operates and how we tend to we can lean into demonizing young people based upon issues around security and safety. So I get all of that. But as this server was talking to me about this challenge in Chicago and talking about some of the events that students, or young people rather, were gathering around, these are like sometimes flagship events, public events for the city of Chicago. And I don't think we can overlook the irony of the ways in which young people, especially young Black people, are dispossessed by these major American cities. And so I know it feels confrontational when scores of teens show up. Sometimes, unfortunately, in Philadelphia, we have groups of teens that are robbing people. But the teen takeovers in and of themselves, I think, require us to think a little bit more deeply about in what ways are these major metropolitan areas serving young Black people, particularly as we look towards another hot summer.
Yeah, well, so let me ask this question, because what do young white kids do in the summertime? Because I mean, is there? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, what are they doing differently with their free time than Black kids? Is this really about kids not having a place, safe spaces to go to and things to do, or is this about something else? Is this about expressing yourself? I'm starting to think this out loud a little bit here with you, brother. I'm trying to think, is this is this really about them not? Because I talked to the city council person from Brother White from DC, and we've been talking about this all week on the show. I get it, man. Look, when I was growing up, I'm a little older than you, but you kind of grew up during a period where we had shopping malls where kids went and hung out in the malls, right? That was a big thing. We had movies. We went to the movie theater. The city council person brought up roller skating, and I forgot all about that.
Roller skating rinks, libraries, all kinds of things, bro.
Right. So I do realize there is a lack of things for Black kids to do, but then I'm thinking about what are white kids doing, and maybe they do have more social gathering spaces than Black kids. But I'm wondering, is this also about some kind of self-expression that we're seeing young Black kids do around the country?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk more about the expressive piece. I think that's absolutely key here. If we just want to do a quantitative analysis of recreational facilities and options and opportunities for white youth in a city like Philadelphia or Chicago versus Black youth, we would come really disappointed in that, Matt. I mean, it's not just more access to pools, private and public, to recreational facilities, private and public. It's also when you think about how the neighborhood segregation operates in cities like ours, they have better neighborhoods, literally more green neighborhoods, more clean neighborhoods, more safe neighborhoods, literally, right? Not speaking figuratively. I'm talking about literally cleaner, literally greener. Like the air is better in white neighborhoods in cities like Chicago and Philadelphia, and that disparity reflects some of the structural challenges that youth can't put their finger on. But this is why the expression piece is important. They do know they need to act out against it. They do understand that kind of what I would refer to as like social death in the recreational space is something that should be intolerable for them, something they should not tolerate. And so there's a great book by Trey Johnson, Matt. It's called Black Genius. And amongst many of the things that Trey Johnson does in this book is he rereads the flash mob phenomenon in Philadelphia. He rereads the dirt bike ATV takeover phenomenon in Philadelphia, and in general just rereads spontaneous teen gatherings in a way that centers on the absence of opportunities for them to express themselves, the ways in which social media and the ways that they can collaborate on social media and show themselves on social media is empowering. And it really begs the question, like, you know, when we know about all these different structural disparities, what are we doing to address them from the perspective of youth life in our cities?
So look, I'm gonna ask you this question. I asked our last guest this question as well. I'm wondering, is the cat out the bag on this though? Have we gone past the point of no return with trying to reel this back in, right? Because I think these kids, we've kind of made it, the media, right? The way we cover it, we've kind of made it now a thing, right? The teen takeover has now become a thing, and it's kind of hard to take that back away from these kids, because whether they understand that they have something here, that they have some kind of power here, right? It's almost like a Doc. It's almost like Iran. Iran knows that they're outnumbered, but they know they got the straight, right? They got the straight.
They got drones and they control the straight. They got drones and they got something that forever.
Right. And it's almost like I feel like the teens, they know they have something here. And I'm wondering, can we reel it back in? I got to take a quick break here. You got a couple more minutes for me?
I sure do.
All right. Our brother, James Peterson, Dr. James Peterson, he hosts Evening Words on WURD in Philadelphia. I've been interviewing this brother for years, over the years, in and out of the studio. Whenever I'm mad at him that he came to Chicago and I couldn't direct him to some of our amazing Black-owned restaurants that he could have enjoyed while he was here. But we'll get him next time when he comes to Chicago. Quick break. Back with Doc after this on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Calling all nonprofit service providers. If you are an executive director, CEO, or development or program director of a local area nonprofit, this one's for you. Meeting the Moment is hosting its first webinar, Big Bill, Big Impact. What funders need to hear from you to avoid service disruption. Taking place Wednesday, June 10th from 11 a.m. until noon. This virtual session will offer participants direct insight into how funding decisions are being shaped and the critical role communication plays in influencing your outcome. We are convening leaders across government, philanthropy, and research to discuss funding priorities, frontline fundraising realities, and how you should be communicating to keep those resources flowing. Hear from Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, researcher Xavier Ramey from Justice Informed, Monique Jones, CEO of Forefront, activist and former CEO of the Knight Foundation, Sol Flores, and Chanel Ritchie of LL Communications. It's an action-packed hour of information that will help you navigate this critical time for nonprofits and provide you with tools you need while managing a changing financial landscape. Our Big Bill, Big Impact webinar is free, but you must register at eventbrite.com. For more information about the Meeting the Moment movement, log on to wvon.com/Meeting the Moment. Meeting the Moment is powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. And if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over 400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got 10 million, Broadview 6 million, Burnham 3 million, South Holland 17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter, Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right. Here we go. Nothing like Chicago, nothing like the blues, nothing like WVON and the blues. Me and Sir Henry Cheatham, we're going to be doing our thing on opening night of the Blues Fest. That's at the Ramova Theater. I know many of you won't get a chance to be there, but we'll be there all weekend. Come and check us out. Also, go to WVON.com and check out the website or download the WVON app so you can be part of the radio station and everything that we're doing, like joining the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Rue is going to be going to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th, so you got plenty of time to get involved in that trip and experience this great country. Speaking of this great country, the great city of Philadelphia has a great radio station that's Black-owned, like WVON. Black words matter, right? Black voices matter. Black representation matters. And our brother, Dr. James Peterson, represents our culture very well on Evening Words on WURD in Philadelphia, talking about everything we've been talking about here in Chicago. I talk about what it's like to be Black and living in America, in Donald Trump's America, taking the day's news and making it make sense. I'm sure that's what my brother's doing on WURD as well. And
you know this.
As well, we're happy to have them on here. But, we were talking about teen takeovers, and he says they have a version of that going on in Philadelphia. We know it's happening in D.C. U.S. district judge there, Janine Pirro, is threatening to prosecute the parents there, my brother, doctor. And in New Jersey, they've got some issues. But I asked the question before we went to break, man, is it too late? Have we let the cat out the bag? These kids have some power now, right? They have some leverage. They know when they do this, it's going to make the 10 o'clock news. And we talked about the expression part. This is them expressing themselves. You know, what can government do? What can community? How do we, if we were going to try to get this genie back in the bottle or do something and prevent these teen takeovers from, what can government do? Because let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Mayor Johnson's going to pay the price for it. As much, and I don't know if you know this, Dr. Peterson, but the mayor, he vetoed a curfew, right? So city council wanted to have a curfew, a rolling instant snap curfew. Mayor Johnson is trying to side with the kids on this, vetoed it. But now that we're having these teen takeovers happen all over again, now the mayor's getting criticized for making that veto.
Yeah, so a couple of things. First and foremost, let me say I apologize to all my family and friends in Chicago for not getting the recommendation to connect with everyone that I could, because I was only there for about 72 hours.
Okay.
I was at a conference. I'll do better next time, Matt. I promise on that.
There you go.
So there's no way of putting the toothpaste back in the tube on this. I know that media has to cover this, but media has to be smarter about how it covers these things, right? So that we don't end up demonizing our youth. A couple of things here, Matt. I actually am in alignment with Mayor Johnson on this for a couple of reasons. Curfews don't really work so well in the city of Philadelphia. They have not historically. They invite a little bit more of a contentious relationship between young people and the built environments around them, and that just it doesn't solve the problem. And so I know you will have to pay a political price for it, but I am actually in alignment with him, and I don't think it's about standing with the youth or not. I think it's about what works and what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are some things that government can do. A government can invest in public education in Black communities. Government can invest in the built environments in and around Black communities. Government can invest in Job Corps and job training and workforce development opportunities for young people in the summer. Government can invest in youth programs that allow young people to travel, to move beyond their built environments, to experience different things, like young people around the world and young people of other backgrounds and young people of privilege do on a regular basis. So there's lots of things the government can do, but Matt, we're not going to police our way out of this. Because even if you arrest every single one of them and arrest their parents and do all the things that Trump world would love to do to Black youth anyway, by the way, people like Janine Pirro, the MAGA crowd, they would do these things to Black youth whether or not a transgression occurred or not. You understand what I'm saying, Matt?
Oh, yeah.
They will demonize them and police them and try to arrest them and accuse them and put them into the judicial system, whether they make a transgression or not. And so that's not the answer. We're not policing our way out of this. I think the media's got to be smarter about how it covers it. I saw a program, they were reporting on a program, I think it was a pastor in Chicago, had an intentional teen takeover. I think programs like that, they've got to be a little less clumsy and a little bit more innovative and culturally cool for young people. But I think there are ways to lean into bringing young people together at major events, carving out space for them, making them feel like they are welcome and they belong in the city they live in and grew up in. This is the thing. Chicago has got to make this balance between its extraordinary offering for tourists and for wealthy, for middle-class folks to come to these incredible perennial events like the Blues Festival that you all are co-sponsoring and headlining. Like that stuff is important, but are we deliberate, intentional, and methodical, Matt, about carving out space for young people specifically for those events? This is what the teen takeover is about. They're saying, yo, we need space, bro. You got to give us some space and all these great things. Chicago's an incredible city. It cannot do incredible things and erase or project absence for Black youth in what they're doing. It just doesn't make sense to young people. They're not going to articulate it that way, Matt, but I'm telling you, that's how they feel.
Brother, I love you. Short notice, and you deliver for the WVON audience. I appreciate that. They appreciate that. This is a conversation we need to have. We need to know what's going on in Philadelphia. Philadelphia needs to know what's going on in Chicago. Wherever Black people live, we need to be aware of the circumstances, who the mayor is, how the city council, how the neighborhoods are doing. Black people are everywhere in this country. This is our country. And it's going to take all of us, not just government. Now, I agree with you, what you just said. Government has to do their part, and it's going to take all of the community partners to be involved in order to tackle this. And I think we can make it happen. Dr. James Peterson, my brother, tell our people how they can connect with you on social media.
Yep, I'm at Dr. James Peterson on X. I'm James Braxton Peterson on Instagram, and you can find me at wrdradio.com.
All right, man. As always, I love you, brother, and can't wait to have you back on.
Brother. I appreciate you always for letting me come into the space, bro. I really do.
There it is. There it is. Let's do this right now. Caller number 3 at 591-1690. You're going to win a pair of tickets to go to the Chicago Blues Fest 2026 on Friday, June 5th. That's right. It's a celebration. What did Kanye say? It's a celebration. I can't say everything that Kanye says, but it's going to be a celebration. The Blues in Chicago and WVON goes together. Caller number 3 is going to win a pair of tickets for that show where we're going to be celebrating 55 years of Alligator Records, putting it down in the city of Chicago and all around this country, featuring Ronnie Baker Brooks live on stage. Keep listening for more chances to win. Brought to you by Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, better known as DCASE. And, of course, your favorite radio station, The Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Don't go anywhere. Logan's got news right now. More of your conversation at 591-1690 when we return.
Hope you're having a thriving Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's what's happening in your local and national news. Senator Dick Durbin told Illinois lawmakers in his farewell address that political divisions are threatening democracy. He highlighted accomplishments from his 30 years in the Senate, including anti-smoking laws, protections for dreamers. Members of the Illinois Freedom Caucus boycotted the speech, reflecting the partisan tensions he described. In other news, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson will meet with the Pope Leo XIV today. Perry Williams has more.
The mayor arrived in Rome this morning. He says he won't be empty-handed when he sits with the pontiff.
He'll have a Cubs hat. He'll have a Cubs jersey. If I can find these Cubs socks, I'm going to bring those. You know, the real gift, I think, is going to be just him knowing that Chicago is incredibly proud and that we love him.
Mayor Johnson has a delegation with him that includes City Treasurer, Rainbow Push leader Yusuf Jackson, and CTU President Stacey Davis Gates. Johnson's office says the delegates on the trip are not using taxpayer dollars to cover their cost. I'm Perry Williams.
In other news, a man accused of gunning down an honor roll high school student on Chicago's southwest side is no longer in custody. The suspect does not face criminal charges. Police say 17-year-old Pedro Ramirez, who attended Tilden High School, was shot and killed on Tuesday morning, the 1300 block of West 51st Street. 2 other victims were wounded by gunfire and were taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. And a UK study found that individuals may control up to 80% of their health outcomes in old age through lifestyle choices. Researchers recommended avoiding processed foods and alcohol while prioritizing sleep and healthy habits. Critics say the report oversimplifies health issues by downplaying social and economic factors that also affect long-term health. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
In June, Chicago will make history. It's the opening of the Obama Presidential Center. It's our center, our story, in our city. We're WVON.
It's D.L. Hughley.
When you see things like what happened in Virginia, where they had a special election and expanded seats for the Democrats, Republicans have been putting their fingers on the scale of the elections forever. They've always done it. They've always gerrymandered. But now they have gerrymandered everything to the nth degree that they don't have any more room to gerrymander. And now these Democrats have picked up 10 to 12 seats. Even after this is all over, we got to get back to people who are involved in the pedophile ring. We got to get back to ICE brutalizing people. So the war is a distraction, but from some pretty horrible that we got to get back to.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray.
Congressman Jonathan Jackson on the line.
I saw a meme that said America will come and get you. When it's about the oil, they bombed in Iran, they've got oil. They bombed in Iraq, they've got oil. They bombed in Libya, they've got oil. And now they bombed in Venezuela. They've got oil. And they even came after Diddy because he had oil.
Come on, Congressman. What a great setup. That was good. That was good.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hello, Chicagoland. This is your main man, Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman. I'm inviting all of my friends, associates, and colleagues to tune in to WVON, the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM for the Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman Show. This show will cover all the hottest topics, including politics, reducing gun violence, and so much more, right here every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Thank you.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back, 591-1690. I just wanted to, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk to the last two guests, one from Washington, D.C., and one from Philadelphia, so we can get some perspective on what's going on here in Chicago and understand it. Young people, young Black people, all around the country are dealing with the same issue. Our kids are dealing with the same issue. So the teen takeover thing is, it was interesting to hear Brother James Peterson talk about how in Philadelphia, they have a different version of it, right? It's not the teen takeover per se of what we see going on here in Chicago. He said ATV, like dirt bikes, they're riding those around. We get in Chicago, we have the brothers that ride those little three-wheeler things, but those are grown men riding those and taking over every now and then in Chicago, blasting the music so loud you can hear them coming a block away. But our young people are just basically getting together on feet and on the bus, on the L, and in cars, and they're just determining where they're going to be, and they're just showing up in numbers. But what do you think about what I was saying, that this is a thing now? They have some leverage. They feel like they have some power now, right? It's going to be hard to, as Brother Peterson said, put the toothpaste back in the tube, right? How do you do that when you have already given us so much attention? And with that attention, with media attention, it comes power, man. And that's hard. Look, ask, why do members of Congress hold on to their jobs for so long and keep running over and over and over again? Because it's power. It's hard giving up power. When you're even as you get old, it's hard giving up power. Look, we've seen cats stay in Congress until they die. It's hard giving up that power, brothers and sisters. So when young people get it, and even though this is a non-traditional form of power, it's power nonetheless, and they're going to utilize that. Janine Pirro in D.C. has kind of said something that many of you said, right? Because when we see children acting up, we draw a direct line to the parent, and we want to know, where's the parent? Who's holding the parent accountable? Who's holding the kid accountable? And we can tell when you see kids jumping up and down on cars that it's not the parents. We've had a sequence, I think, over the last several years. Over the last 8 to 10 years, we've had in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, we've had a sequence of things happen that have gotten us here to the point where the teen takeover has created all of this energy. Kim Foxx became state's attorney, right? And we saw some of the rules change on how people who break the law were going to be kept and incarcerated and held in jail, held in county jail, right? We started seeing crime happen on the CTA in areas that it normally didn't happen. So people were riding the blue line. We had cats riding the blue line up north and stealing, robbing white folks on CTA. we had brothers. I don't know if y'all remember this now. We haven't seen too much of it this year, but over the last several years, we were seeing brothers driving up on the north side, jumping out their cars, and basically robbing white folks walking down the street. So now what we did, we had that, and you couple that with theft going on in Walgreens and everything getting locked up. And then here you got black teens getting together downtown and taking over. Now you got this fear factor and everybody's freaking the hell out. So it's not just the teen takeover happening by itself that has created this reaction. It's a sequence of things that have happened since COVID and a little bit before COVID that has gotten us here where this fear factor is out there. And it's making news, no doubt about it. All right, Brother Hall, I know you wanted to make one more point before I get to these other phone calls. If you're still holding on, please bring Brother Hall back up. Brother Hall?
Yes. Matt?
Yep, you're on, my brother.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Peterson hit it, brother. He told you exactly what many of us had been saying. The nasty-ass neighborhoods in the black community. That's not by accident. That's by design. How do we know that? Because go to some of those wards that's 90% white or brown folk, and that's what you see. Matt, I'm not trying to have it out with you, brother, but you kind of gets me when I see you throw the other stuff in, like, oh, they sticking up people, they was doing this. Man, let me tell you something, brother. That's not just in the black community. White folks stick up, rob, go in stores, and do all of that as well. So I just think once they give our children, at least they're standing up for something that they know that's not right. And I'd like for you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, but here's one thing. I've been doing radio for a long time, right?
I know that.
I know you know that. I'm just saying. I'm just talking in general. Even before I got on radio in Chicago, right? And it's interesting that when you do talk radio, like if I did music, it would just be all fun and games. Hey, what's up, y'all? Let's play the hits. Boom, boom, boom. Coming up next, Janet Jackson. Da 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 da. Right? When you get into talk, especially black talk radio, right? It's interesting because we have the most impacted community in America. We know that, right? But when you talk and you are a little critical of your community, you're gonna have some people that are right there with you that are like, yeah, we got to do better, da da da. And some people, like you were saying, it bothers you when I throw in there, you know, the robberies that were happening, right?
Absolutely.
I got a responsibility to add.
Huh? See, what's happening? Hold on, let me say this right quick. What's happening is that we get away from what's supposed to happen. What is that? The police have a job to do. So they're showing us this on our network channels, but then that's all they show. When you see black folks, oh, John got shot, Tina got shot, a baby got shot. I ain't just flew here. I grew here in this game.
No, I'm saying what?
Go ahead, brother.
What I'm saying is, brother, that we have to tell the stories and expand the conversation and tell the truth about what's going on out here. I mean, we had a flurry. We had a moment where I think brothers decided that they were going to go up in white neighborhoods and rob white people. They were like, heck, why are we robbing black people that are pulling guns out on us and are fighting us back? And that wasn't hold up, Brother Hall. You're not letting me finish the sentence.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right. So I'm saying that adds context to the story as to what has led up to this moment where we are. I mean, I can't pretend like that's not part of the story. I can't pretend like the optics of Walgreens locking up all of their stuff is not part of the story. Whether it's fair or not, the characterization, whether it's fair or not, That's a whole different conversation. The reality is what exists. This existed. This happens. This is why we're getting this reaction to the teen takeover. It's fitting a narrative that mainstream media may be putting out there. Fine, but it's out there, and this is why you're getting the reaction. I didn't sit up here and blame. I said this is why we're getting this reaction right now, guys. It probably started. It's a fact that when Kim Foxx took over, she was trying to undo 100+ years of black people being unfairly incarcerated. That's a fact, brother. That is, I'm not making that up. I'm telling the truth about what was going on, and then what happened as a result of that. So then we had people that were not being held on bail, which was an unfair system that targeted poor black people. We get that. So now you got brothers getting out until their court date, and while they're out, they're committing more crimes. That's not me creating a narrative, brother. That happened. We let the sister down. We let her down. We let her down. And then it made her look bad for doing it. It made black people look bad as if we can't help ourselves but be criminals, right? And it added to a narrative. That's not a narrative that I created. I cannot create a narrative on these airwaves, brother. All I can do is talk about what's out here happening, right? And all I was trying to say was those stories that existed of white people at first it was people getting their iPhones stolen on the Blue Line up in Wicker Park and Jefferson Park and up in that area, right? And it was people jumping out of their cars.
Black folks did all of that, right?
No, wait, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. This narrative of Chicago being unsafe and black people were the purveyors of the crime. That narrative was put out there. Whether I talk about it, I don't have to talk about it. That narrative still exists. I'm just saying the narrative is out there and adds to where we are today with this story of black kids gathering. And it wouldn't be a problem with black kids gathering if white folks were feeling like, oh no, this is good. They should gather and have knife safe. But white people want to make it seem like our safety is at risk. If we let these black kids gather downtown, they're going to be robbing us and destroying our community.
Let me ask you this before I go. I noticed that Wallapalooza doesn't have those problems. They have no parking problems. They have no getting alone together problems. The black folks is the only one, according based on what you're saying and what this racist ass media that we watch every day, and because all they show is us in a negative way. And when you see that, our young children, and I'm not saying to take up for them, if they're doing wrong, they need to be punished for that. But ain't nowhere in the hell that our children go out here just to get, where are they going to go? There's no places to go, brother.
I think Brother Peterson, I think Brother Peterson did a very good job of outlining that, right? He talked about the difference in our neighborhood. So even if we were going to say, because I know we will bring up Lollapalooza, right? We'll bring up Lollapalooza, right? And there's a difference between Lollapalooza. Yeah, these kids are getting together. They're coming. Number one, a lot of the people that come to Lollapalooza, it's not just the teens. You got people in their 20s and 30s that go to Lollapalooza. So that's not necessarily.
It's not just the teens. You got older people. They see the narrative. The narrative is controlled by the media. Teen takeover. Who came up with that? What is that? You got more people, not just teens. You got older people. I got older sons that was down there in that mayhem, man.
We can call it whatever. We can call it a young person's takeover. But hold on, it's 1:49. Good call, Brother Hall. I got a break here, and we'll take more phone calls when we return. And I'm going to give away some more tickets, I think, during the show. I'm going to tell you win a little later on. You're listening to the Matt McGill Store.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm Lori Smith. This week on Meeting the Moment, when does storytelling uplift people and when does it exploit them? I'm sitting down with Perry Ermer of the DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center and Dr. Twin Green of the Link and Option Center for a powerful conversation about human-centered narratives, ethics, and responsibility in storytelling. Meeting the Moment, powered by the Chicago Community Trust, Saturday at 12 noon, right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This May, Vaughn TV brings culture to life. See For the Cause. It's a gripping drama where a rising civil rights attorney takes on the case of a father she barely knows, a former Black Panther with a past that refuses to stay buried.
On the night Mariah was born, while I was in the hospital, the police raided the house I stayed in. With no warrants, they came in and shot up the place. When they were done, 2 of my comrades were dead, 4 injured. If I hadn't gone into labor, it's very possible my life would have ended that night.
And if you missed Vaughn TV's Friday night of premieres, don't worry. There's still time to catch original series, films, and voices that move the culture forward. Watch Vaughn TV anytime on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. And if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, inviting you to join me weekdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on WVON. I am bringing you a national perspective on all the happenings in the Black community and, of course, politics. It's talk radio for us, by us, and this is where America listens.
It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Are you ready? Not just to do hair, but to build a real beauty business.
If you're a stylist, a barber, or a beauty professional, this show is for you.
I'm Nidra Williams of Solo Beauty Supply.
I'm Dr. Lekashan, trichologist and salon owner.
Breaking down real strategy, real growth, and what it takes to win in this industry.
Tap in, lean in, and level up.
The Hair Salon Tour Show, where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. Join us Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. WVON 1690.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we are back. I got more phone calls. Let's see. It looks like I got a bank of calls. Let's get to them. I mean, I think one of the mistakes we do make, guys, though, is we try to compare crime, right? We try to say, well, you know, Black people aren't the only ones committing crime. That's true. I agree with you. There's no question about it. But our crimes are different based on your social and economic condition, right? Black people's crimes are going to revolve around poverty, right? White people's crimes revolve around and Black people too, though, don't get me wrong, like around drug addiction and stuff like that, right? But Black people's crime, because our community, we have been impoverished. We've been part of this American dream that has always shortchanged Black people. So you have poverty, and that crime kind of arises out of that poverty, right? And so the type of crime that we're involved in is going to be a little different. We can talk Lollapalooza. I think I remember last year they showed a video, and this is the mainstream media. They showed this on TV. It wasn't like they were trying to hide it. They showed it. They showed where all the kids were jumping over the fence or tearing down the fence and running into Lollapalooza. Don't y'all remember that last year? That's they showed that. It was a story. These kids tear down the gate and they're running into Lollapalooza for free, right? That can be looked at and be looked at as being criminal, but that is, and you and I are going to feel different about that than a teen takeover and you look out your window and your car windshield is broken because a kid has been jumping on your windshield. I don't care if the kid is black or white. If a group of white kids came into your neighborhood and jumped on your car and broke your windshield, you gonna be mad. And you gonna make it known that you're mad. Right? So crime is crime, but there are some differences in these crimes, right? And here's the thing about black crime. We got black crime where we might have these brothers rolling up in their cars, up in Lincoln Park, Wicker Park, wherever, scaring the hell out of these white folks with a gun and robbing them, taking their jewelry, their wallet, and all their credit cards and all that, their iPhones and all that, and then come back to the South Side. The white folks are scared to death of that, right? But that's basically robbery. So that is a crime. It might be strong. They might throw the gun out there, scare the hell out of these white folks. But guess what? They just flash the gun at the white folks and rob them, right? That same brother, though, when he comes back to the South Side, he's using a gun on his brother. Now, that is a problem. If we're going to psychoanalyze crime is happening everywhere. I'm sure there are white people. I don't know if there are white people pulling guns out and sticking up black people, but I'm sure if it is, it is. But crime is crime. I get that. But there's a difference than what's going on in our community when we just saw a story this morning, 15-year-old kid just got shot in the face on 48th and Calumet, right around the corner from where I grew up. Right around the corner from where I grew up. So that the gun that's used to scare white folks into giving up their iPhones and their wallets is used to shoot and try to kill a 15-year-old black kid. Now, whatever narrative you want me to give you on that, I can give you. You want me to make it sound better? You want me to talk about, instead of talking about the 15-year-old that got shot in the face, I can talk about white kids pissing on somebody's lawn or tearing down a gate to go to Lollapalooza. If that's what you want me to talk about, I can talk about that. But me personally, as a black man, I'm a little more pissed off about the 15-year-old getting shot in the face. And if we got to drill down to it's poverty, it's a lack of resources, and I think a lot of you guys drill down on that is a result of self-hate. You point a gun at another black man and consciously decide, I'm going to pull the trigger. You're trying to kill him. You're trying to kill him. Now we got to figure out what's the why behind that. And I'm not up here trying to say, well, damn, they should be shooting white folks, but it's just think about that for a second. We use the gun to scare white folks into giving us their money and their watches and all of that, and we get back in the car and come on the South Side and use the same gun to kill a 15-year-old. We got a problem. I cannot sugarcoat that, y'all. I just cannot sugarcoat that. Or if you want me to, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. If that's what, and I'm not saying that you this is you, Brother Hall, but if that's the kind of radio you want, then you're abso-freaking-lutely listening to the wrong show. You just are. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. Top story of the morning. 15, I'm rubbing my eyes. 15-year-old shot in the face on 48th and Calumet. What? I'm looking at buildings that they're doing the story. I used to sit right there. My boy Kenny grew up right there. Danny lived right there. Miss Ruth lived right there. I'm looking at this. Wait a minute. And this ain't even back when I was growing up in that neighborhood, and it was the low. It's Bronzeville, y'all. That same block. It's Bronzeville. Help me, help you. I hear you. But sometimes this might not be the show to listen to. 591-1690 is the Matt McGill Show.
Happy Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. 5th Ward Alderman Desmond Yancey discusses teen takeover. Chicago pastors plan events to address teen takeovers. CTA bus crash sends 11 to hospitals. And tips offered for food safety with grilling season here. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON Berwyn, Chicago.
Returning to the U.S. from African countries impacted by Ebola have their choice
Tony
of
Snow says,
designated entry points.
create
Former President
Niggerpalooza.
Biden is suing the DOJ. But first, here's BIN News Now.
Vice President J.D. Vance says cracking down on government fraud is critical during an event at the White House.
Chico sticks.
Protecting the American taxpayers who shouldn't have their money stolen by fraudsters. And of course, we're protecting the people who need these services.
Revealed investigators uncovered $20 billion in schemes, mostly tied to healthcare, while leading the White House anti-fraud task force. Houston Congressman Al Green's long tenure appears to be ending. He lost the Democratic primary in his district to fellow Representative Christian Menifee after redistricting eliminated Green's longtime seat. Menifee now faces Republican Ronald Whitfield in November. And civil rights leader Clarence B. Jones, who helped write Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, has died at 95. Jones was a key organizer of the 1963 March on Washington and later a respected lawyer and advocate. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
They're negotiating on fumes, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
President Trump says the U.S. is not quite satisfied with the deal proposed by Iran. During a cabinet meeting at the White House, he warned that if a deal isn't reached with Iran, then the U.S. will have to finish the job. Trump went on to say Iran is negotiating on fumes. He again reiterated that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon and said this is something he's doing for the world, not just the U.S. JFK International, one of 4 U.S. airports named as a designated entry point for passengers arriving from African countries impacted by Ebola. Richard Hatchett, CEO of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, says there's no vaccine for this strain of the virus.
We have less experience with this strain. It's occurring in an environment that proved really, really challenging in 2018, 2019. When we had a vaccine already ready.
The CDC is still allowing some people from the Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda, where Ebola is spreading unchecked, to enter the U.S., but only at those designated sites. They are JFK in New York, Dulles in Virginia, Hartsfield Jackson in Atlanta, and Houston's George Bush Intercontinental. Secretary of State Marco Rubio making it clear that we cannot and will not allow any case of Ebola to come into the United States. He says there will be enhanced Ebola screenings at those airports that include a questionnaire about travel history and any symptoms. Former President Biden is suing the Justice Department to block the release of audio recordings and transcripts from interviews with his biographer. The lawsuit filed this week in federal court seeks to stop the department from releasing the materials to the House Judiciary Committee and the Conservative Heritage Foundation next month. The recordings were used during former special counsel Robert Hur's investigation into Biden's handling of classified documents, though Hur declined to bring charges. DOJ officials say the recordings allegedly show concerns about Biden's mental acuity dating back to 2016. Biden's team argues the release is politically motivated. The U.S. Coast Guard is reopening the search for a Michigan woman who has been missing since she fell overboard in the Bahamas. Last month, NBC News reports a U.S. official familiar with the investigation says the search for Lynette Hooker is resuming because GPS data from the boat she she and her husband were on appears to contradict the account of his whereabouts when she vanished. Brian Hooker's account led investigators to search in the wrong area of the Sea of Abaco while they were looking for the 55-year-old woman. The Coast Guard is requesting permission from Bahamian authorities to allow divers to search the waters once again. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow BIN News This Hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Hydration helps regulate body temperature, energy, and focus. Don't wait until you are thirsty to drink water.
Your health, our community, for WVON.
It's DL Hughley.
When you see things like what happened in Virginia, where they had a special election and expanded seats for the Democrats, Republicans have been putting their fingers on the scale of the elections forever. They've always done it. They've always gerrymandered. But now they have gerrymandered everything to the nth degree that they don't have any more room to gerrymander. And now these Democrats have picked up 10 to 12 seats. Even after this is all over, we got to get back to people who are involved in the pedophile ring. We got to get back to ICE brutalizing people. So the war is a distraction, but from some pretty horrible that we got to get back to.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Ready to fire up your taste buds, Chicago? Black-owned Kodo Hibachi serves fresh, authentic hibachi and sushi, served with a smile. Grab takeout, order delivery, or dine in casual style. No flaming show, just flavor that steals the spotlight. And hey, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Visit them at 258 West 31st Street. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 8. Friday and Saturday till 9. Sundays till 7. And don't forget, tell them WVON is your favorite radio station and get 10% off your order. Kodo Hibachi, where flavor meets culture.
Pull up to the flagship location at 258 West 31st Street and stay tuned. The Kodo family is growing. New location coming soon.
Hey, baby! I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us
Mr. Big Stuff, tell me.
on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
Violence and trauma can leave lasting wounds, including mental wounds. This Saturday on the Community Health Focus Hour, join host Franklin Cozy Gay for a special mental health segment, Violence and Trauma Prevention. Part 1, an important conversation on how trauma impacts individuals, families, and communities, and what prevention, support, and healing can look like. Listen live on WVON and Facebook. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of U Chicago Medicine at the forefront.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berlin, Chicago. It's Matt McGill on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Every time I'm with you. It's what you like to do. Something I like to do. So let's get it done.
Okay, gotcha. I got you.
Play the cloud drive. Everything will be
All right. I apologize for getting a little amped up there, but we got some live radio going on, guys. And that's what happens here, man. There's a reason why WVON is WVON, man. Is because we have these kind of conversations that get a little emotional, that get a little amped up, as they should. That's just the reality of what we got going here, man. These issues are very important, man. I'm up here as we are talking about, this kid getting shot in the face. I look at the television and I got to listen to Donald Trump and them trying to create this narrative around now Cuba. And how if Cuba doesn't do what we want them to do, we're going to blow them away. The language that's used by this president and this government, if this country doesn't do this, we're going to blow them back to kingdom come. all of this aggressivity that's going on in this country right now that exists. And then here we are in Black America. We're trying to figure out what's going on in our community. We're tense. There's a lot of tension going on out here. There's no question about it. A lot of tension, right? And I understand it. It is what it is. It is what it is. But we've got to be firm in what we believe in. And we've got to be no nonsense, guys. We just have to, man. We have this moment is too important for us right now to get it wrong. That's what I will always say. We have got to get this situation right. Because our kids, number one, with this teen takeover, the kids are mired right in the middle of it. All right. Anyway, we've got Ravinia coming up at 2:35. We might have a little surprise for you there as well. So, this incredible lineup that Ravinia has going on this year. WVON is going to be right in the middle of it as well. So I want to make sure Eric Soderstrom is going to be joining us at 2:35. He's the Senior Director of Programming up there at Ravinia. And, we've been talking about Metra and how you can take Metra out to Ravinia and all that stuff. So we'll be catching up with all of that conversation coming up at 2:35. All right, let's go straight to the phone lines right now. Jason's been holding on for a long time. Jason, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind? Jason going once. Jason going twice. All right, Walton. Let's go to Walton. Walton, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind? Walton going. All right, hold on. I'm getting a new list right now. All right. I'm seeing Jason on here. Is Jason not there? Hold on. I hear somebody breathing. Michael, welcome to WVON. Michael, what's on your mind?
Yeah, let me give a shout out to Brother Roscoe, who will not only be our next mayor, but our next 20 black aldermen. Now, Matt, on last Saturday and Sunday, May the 23rd and May 24th, there was a Sueno Music Festival in Grant Park. It was over 100,000 Mexicans and migrants there both days. How many arrests was made?
I have no idea.
How many arrests was made?
I have no idea.
Huh?
I have no idea.
So, well, wait a minute now. Our black kids can't go downtown. 200-300 black kids. But over 100,000 Mexican migrants can go in Grant Park off of our tax dollars, Mr. Mayor. Huh?
Wait, hold up.
You said there are no arrests?
Hey,
no
Michael.
arrests are reported?
Hey,
are you
Michael.
serious?
Hey, Michael. Hey, just so you know, this was a global event that happened at Grant Park. Just so you know, this was an event. Hold on, brother. Let me finish. Hey, Michael, if you let me finish the sentence, you can trash the mayor all you want to. Just let me finish this last part of this sentence, right? Because I had never heard of this music fest. I was driving through and I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. So I went online to see if this was something that I'd be interested in coming down and checking out. Brother, the tickets to go to that music fest that you're talking about were $365. Just letting you know. Go ahead, finish your comment.
Okay. Now you said the tickets cost $365. What do they got to do with crime that was allowed to go on in that park? Now let me get to my second point.
Okay.
On Memorial Day, this past Monday, Montrose Beach was taken over by hundreds of white kids and Mexican kids. How many arrests was made at that beach?
I have no idea.
I know you don't, because you know why? You too busy profiling what black people are supposed to go on the north side. And a lot of them robs you see on TV, where all the people breaking in all them gas stations and businesses and taking all them ATM machines. Those are Mexicans and white kids. Look at the color of the skin, their hands and their neck and their face. And then you said, where'd you white kids go? Black people. Go over there and drive past Wrigley Field, and you're going to see the hundreds of white and Hispanic kids that are allowed to take over Wrigley Field and nothing is done about it. The police stand there and protect them. That's why they got Gallagher out there, because those kids can go hang out over there and there's no consequences. But in the black community, our community, we have nothing.
Okay,
and
good call.
And again,
Good call, brother Michael.
Hey,
Hey, I hear you, man. Good call, brother. Good call. All right, 591-1690. Let's go to, I'm trying to look at this list. KW. Is KW out there?
Buddy. Hello.
KW, what's going on?
KW is here. I just want to make a comment that disorderly conduct and disrespect anywhere by anybody cannot be tolerated. And what's going on, what you're seeing with our youth is a cosmos of what's going on in the Chicago public schools. Our kids don't respect the teachers. They don't respect the police. And it goes on every day, school after school, incident after incident. We have to stand strong. We just can't tolerate this crap.
I'm with you, brother. I mean, I think we got it. We got to be involved. I tell you that much. I tell you that much.
Well, I think I know that we can't make excuses for them. You know, they keep talking about they don't have things to do and things and places to go. They got things to do. Open up a book. You know.
Well, here's the thing, K-Dub. Here's the thing, K-Dub. More than one thing can be true, right? The kids can lack social engagement and things to do, and we have to be on top and not give excuses to bad behavior.
That's the bottom line, brother.
So we both can be true, brother. We
just can't tolerate that. Yeah. We got to treat these kids like we would treat our own.
Yeah.
You know, when you misbehave and you out of order, we got to put you right.
Well, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is, like, when you see the teen takeovers, right? And see, one of the things, like the previous caller, Michael, was trying to say, hey, man, how many people got arrested downtown at the Suenos festival? Number one, I bet not too many, because, like I said, it costs $300 to get in there. So I don't think anybody trying to pay $300 to have the police come up there and raid 300. When I saw that price tag, I was like, what the hell? And then I did some research. That event that happened in Grant Park, man, people were coming in from out of town. It was damn near like Lollapalooza. People were coming in out of town to go to that event. Or what's happening in Wrigleyville. Brother, I'm not in Wrigleyville. I'm on the south side of Chicago, and I'm doing Black Talk Radio on a Black-owned radio station. So my concern is what's happening on 48th and Calumet. A 15-year-old kid got shot. Now, if you want me to come on Black Talk Radio and talk about what's going on in Wrigleyville to make you feel good about the crime that's going on in on the south and west sides of Chicago, then you're listening to the wrong show. It's just that simple.
Well, you seem to be right on the mark, but there's a lot of things that's going on that's not making the news. I got at least 10 hits yesterday from social media of things that have been happening around the city with black folks on the CTA, downtown, all over in the neighborhoods. It's just unbelievable what we have come to accept.
Good call, my brother. Let's take a break. It's 2:18 here on WVON. We got tickets to give away. We got Ravinia coming up at 2:35, and we're keeping it real, talking about our community. It's the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This is Rufus Williams, and I've got something special for you. I am proud to announce that we're launching the Rufus Williams Travel Club in conjunction with Advantage International. Our first trip, we're staying in the United States and heading to one of the most stunning destinations for culture to cuisine. Join us October 8th through 12th as we explore the charm, the beauty, and the history of Charleston, South Carolina. This isn't your typical getaway. We're walking through history and standing where our stories began. From the roots of Gullah Geechee culture to the International African American Museum, from cobblestone streets to waterfront views. This is more than a trip. It's a cultural vibe. To find out more, visit WVON.com and click the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner. And keep listening for more details. The The Rufus Williams Travel Club will turn curiosity into understanding, one destination at a time. We are WVON.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, and family history of kidney failure. All three put you at risk for kidney disease. We are at increased risk and should get screened. This is host LaDonna Ray. Every Tuesday in May at 3:30 p.m. during our health and wellness campaign, the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois will talk with us about kidney health, treatment options, free health screenings, and more. Tune in Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. and go get screened. Visit kidneymobile.org or call 312-321-1500. That's 312-321-1500.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Did I turn? What's going on? I'm hearing dead air. Guys, I'm not hearing anything.
Feels like
All right.
everything is passing me by.
We are back at 591-1690. Let's grab some more phone calls. I've got an interview coming up at 2:35 with our friends from Ravinia this year. And this summer is going to be a hot one with Ravinia and WVON. And we want you to be a part of it. In fact, we may be doing a ticket giveaway. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. Let's see who's up next. I have to. Here we go, Shapira. Thank you so much. Let's take a look, and I am going to go to Charles. Charles, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
I'll be right back. Hey, Matt. How you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Listen, I'll make it quick because I'm pretty sure I'm on the same page with most of Chicagoans regarding this team takeover. First of all, we got to stop asking or stating that it's a team takeover. A lot of this stuff is mob activity. You brought up when we were younger, we hung out with our friends. We hung out in our backyards. We played softball. We played baseball. These kids got parks. These kids got beaches, and they should be congregating with each other's friends and people that they know, not putting this social media stuff out there and conjugating to create chaos. And that's what's happening. And that's what the mayor needs to deal with. That's what these parents need to deal with. They need to be held accountable. And I can continue on, but the point that I'm trying to make is that these are just bad kids. And I think if we realize that, we realize where they are and what they're doing, and we try to make a point to discourage that, this stuff will change. The good kids are playing in their backyards. They at the park. They playing softball. They playing baseball. They're at the basketball court. They're not downtown creating chaos. And that's just the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I think our challenge is going to be how do we wrap our arms around this, man? And like I said, put the genie back in the bottle, because I think it's become a thing now. And so these kids know that it's a thing, and they know that some of them know that they can just, go on social media and put out the call, hey, we're meeting up at 57th Street Beach, and they're going to have a scene. And I don't know that we can put the genie back in the bottle now that it's been out. And for everybody that says, hey, we need resources and let's open up some of these schools, I agree with that. That's cool. But I don't think that's the answer. I think it's going to take a lot of adults and parents getting involved in order to get a handle on this teen takeover stuff.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's got to be some accountability. Hey, son, daughter, I don't need you there. You can hang out here. And if you're there, there's going to be some consequences. And if you get in trouble, I'm not bailing you out. Somebody's got to have those conversations. And I know some of these kids are raising kids, but they got grandparents. Somebody's got to be responsible and say, hey, we can't have you down in that area creating chaos. And if you see the chaos, you got to go. Have some fun. But when the chaos comes, you got to go. You can't be part of that. Right. And these kids has got these. I mean, come on. The guy is mentioning about Hispanic kids and white kids. I ain't gonna say nobody's toting guns that are not African American, but they're not getting shot at in Wrigleyville. They're not getting shot at those events. It was $250.
Right. And I didn't want to say that, but that's the big difference here, man. Yeah. But let me tell you, here's what's interesting. As much as Black America and Black people and Black Chicago, as much as we are, Democratic Party, liberals, we're part of the progressive political ideology. There are a lot of Black people that are very conservative when it comes to an issue like this. And even though Janine Pirro is somebody that we don't agree with, there are a lot of Black people that will line up behind that line of thought when it comes to making the parents pay and prosecuting the parents, man. Because Black people are just tired of the nonsense, man. We are politically liberal. There's no question about that. But on some of these social issues, we're very conservative. And on this issue, when it comes to parenting, Black people, especially Black people of a certain age group, are like, dude, these kids just ain't got no parents that are putting fear in them. And that's the bottom line. That making these kids realize there's a price to pay for bad behavior. These kids aren't the ones that are taking this out of control are not fearing their parents. And most Black people that are parents are tired of that BS. I can tell you that for sure. Good call, brother. Let's go to Sunshine. We need some sunshine. Hey, Sunshine.
Good afternoon. I'm a first-time caller on your show, Matt. I'm great. This is Shirley Sunshine Fields. I think, my perspective is bigger than what I'm hearing most of us say. I have had an opportunity to teach recently high school students and financial literacy, and we talked about a lot of different things. What I'm learning, these young people, they can't read, they can't write. None of them knew when I said you got to sign for your check because we were given stipends. They didn't know what a signature was. They don't do cursive writing. So, and sometimes when we were growing up, the class clown was the one who could not do a whole lot. So he acted out.
Right.
So I think we need to take this into consideration. And a lot of us are saying what happened when we grew up. We are not living in those times. We did not have social media when we were growing up. We had parents that grew up, that cared, and we had grandmothers back then. When the children that's growing, these children that we see nowadays, their parents was on drugs somewhere. They raised themselves. They were sitting in front of those games, playing them war games, them games that was killing each other. So they really are lacking a lot of emotion. So we cannot compare them to how we grew up. I'm not taking up for them, but I need us to be aware of the times that we are living in, and especially if you can't read and write. What you think of this?
You're absolutely correct, sister. We need to talk about literacy. We need to talk about education. We need to talk about our young people understanding the news and paying attention to the news. I used to go every year. I used to go to this alternative school where these kids are over 18 and they're getting their high school diplomas. And I used to talk to them about their education. I used to be like, hey, man, you know, that desk you're sitting in, it may not mean anything to you, but there's some kids out here that want that desk and they want you out of the way. So you can play around and be the class clown and all of that, right? But there's some kids, that seat has a dollar value to it. So you're absolutely right, Sister Sunshine. Sunshine, I want you and I want everybody on Facebook Live to please share the show right now. We've been having some issues on Facebook that we need to correct. So let's share the show, everybody. Jerry Patton, Mike Burry, Zaviola, Sister Sunshine, Chrissy Trotter, Diane Young, everybody else. Tony Snow, who's cracking me up all day today. Rudy, everybody do a share. Monica, let's get these words and the signal out to everybody in the country, in the world, that concerned about Black people, about Black America, about humanity. Kind people. I don't care what your race, your color is, your religion, your ethnicity. We're trying to reach people that are kind in their heart, that are good people, that understand that we can make this country better. We can make this city better. We can make this world better. And it starts with us, conversation after conversation. All right, let's take a break here. When we come back, Eric Soderstrom, Senior Director of Programming at Ravinia, is going to join us. Guys, we got a special Ravinia treat for you coming up. This summer is going to be hot, and WVON and you are going to be right in the middle of it. Don't go anywhere. Logan's coming up with news right now.
Hope you're having a thriving Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here it's happening in your local and national news. Southside Chicago 5th Ward Alderman Desmond Yancey is responding to the recent mass teen gatherings happening across the city. WVON's intern Kayla Patton has more.
Alderman Yancey says the gatherings are not just teenagers, but young adults as well. On the Midday Show with WVON's Cleopatra Draper, the 5th Ward Alderman says the solution should not only be effective, but safe when dealing with the city's young people.
We have to figure out, more importantly, how we're keeping young people safe, because it's only a matter of time before something, particularly tragic happens. And then people are going to have a lot of questions about what we should have done, instead of being a little bit more proactive to figure out how we can, prevent young people from being harmed, but allowing them the space to have access to all the resources of the city, because that's what it was made for.
The 5th Ward covers parts of Hyde Park as well as South Shore, Woodlawn, and sections of Greater Grand Crossing. He's been alderman since 2023. Kayla Patton, Our News Now, 1690 WVON.
In other news, Chicago pastors John Hanna and Michael Flager are organizing community events aimed at reducing teen takeover violence. Hanna plans a 12-hour prayer gathering on June 12th at House of Hope, while Flager's June 5th Peace Takeover will feature Chance the Rapper. The efforts follow recent violent teen gatherings, including a Memorial Day shooting near 57th Street Beach that injured 3 teens. In other news, 11 people were hospitalized after a crash involving 2 CTA buses in a Subaru on Chicago's west side. Police say the Subaru ran a red light near Homan and Lake, striking a southbound CTA bus that then collided with a northbound bus. One bus driver was hospitalized in critical condition, while others suffered serious to minor injuries. The Subaru driver was cited and taken to the hospital in stable condition. And a new analysis suggests that eating more legumes and soy foods may help reduce high blood pressure. The findings, published in BMJ Nutrition, Prevention and Health, show that the foods like beans, lentils, chickpeas, and tofu are associated with a lower risk of hypertension. Researchers combined results from long 12-term studies to reach their conclusion, while earlier research showed general health benefits. This analysis strengthens the evidence that these foods may specifically support healthier blood pressure levels. I'm Logan Page, and that's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
Kidney disease affects Black Americans at disproportionately higher rates. Early awareness and routine testing matter, and that's your healthy reminder.
This healthy reminder is sponsored in part by the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois.
Vine TV brings stories in full bloom. See Martha's Vineyard versus DeSantis, a powerful documentary on politics, power, and human lives colliding, following migrant families fighting for justice beyond the headlines. And discover even more featured content on Vine TV, films, series, and stories that keep the culture connected. Stream Vine TV anytime on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, the WVON app, or at VON.TV. Vine TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Hey, baby! I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us
Mr. Big Stuff, tell me.
on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
I'm Lori Smith. This week on Meeting the Moment, when does storytelling uplift people and when does it exploit them? I'm sitting down with Perry Ermer of the DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center and Dr. Twin Green of the Link and Option Center for a powerful conversation about human-centered narratives, ethics, and responsibility in storytelling. Meeting the Moment, powered by the Chicago Community Trust, Saturday at 12 noon, right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's time to focus with Robert McKay. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and preparing our past, present, and future. Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m. Host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance, and they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency. Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we are back. About that little house music to bring us back to. You talk about the history of Chicago and music. That song is one of them, and the whole house music scene is definitely one of them. But this time of year, when the weather gets nice outside and all the festivals are going on in the city of Chicago, this is Ravinia season right here in Chicago. I don't know if most Chicagoans even know the history of Ravinia and how far back it goes, but it all makes sense when you read the history of Ravinia and why this love affair between Chicago and the Chicagoland area and this amazing institution has existed for so long. It's been providing us with relief from the big city, entertainment, get away and get out and enjoy the weather and the sounds of nature combined with the sounds of music that we love. And this summer is going to be no exception. Ravinia is coming back hard again for the 2026 season, and our brother Eric Soderstrom is on the live line with us to talk about it. Eric is the Senior Director of Programming and oversees all artistic programming. Eric, that title right there is almost intimidating, brother. When you think about the history of this institution, man, you got a hell of a responsibility there.
Oh, yes. Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's an honor to work at Ravinia. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of great people who have come before me. And, it's really fun to put together a concert season every summer for our Chicago audiences.
I got to imagine though, it's got to be some pressure, right? Because you know, every year you do it, you want to top the previous year, right? You're like, oh,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lots of pressure. As much as it's a fun job, you got to deliver, right? People are expecting some great artists and some great lineups every summer. So I got to reach a little deeper every year to pull that rabbit out of my hat, you know?
Talk about the history of Ravinia, and when you first learned about this history, what went through your mind?
It's pretty astounding, honestly. Ravinia is over 120 years old. 1904, we were founded by the train line, who stops at our front door to this day. They were trying to get folks out of the city into the suburbs to build homes and buy property, and an amusement park started. Part of the amusement park was live music. And that tradition has continued on till this day with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra in residency every summer. They were one of the first to perform here at Ravinia. But we've done all genres of music over the years, whether it's blues, jazz, hip hop, rock and roll, anyone from Miles Davis to Frank Zappa. They've all performed at Ravinia.
You know, and Metra is one of our amazing sponsors here at WVON, and that train line you're talking about, Metra rides right there. You know, we're encouraging our listeners to take Metra and enjoy not driving. And when you talk about going out to Ravinia, man, I mean, it's like the perfect experience. So the history of that train line and that destination spot and getting Chicagoans, as I was reading the history here, it says, you know, they were encouraging, you know, Chicagoans to ride the train line out there, the Milwaukee Electric Railroad, and to get out there in the woods, like a little bit, get away from the city, far from the heat and smells of a city known as the hog butcher of the world. And anybody that knows the history of Chicago, and if you're my age, the smells of the stockyard were still lingering around when I was a kid. So I can only imagine this was like a getaway for Chicagoans back in the day. That was like, you know, going to the country and just enjoying music and the great nature that's out in that area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Think of it as your perfect summer lawn party, right? Hop on the train. And by the way, your train ride to and from Ravinia is free with your concert ticket. So you can get here for free on the Metra. Again, they drop you off at our front door, so it's really easy and convenient. And yes, the experience at Ravinia is like you're in a park. You're in a beautiful park with all the amenities and also world-class music. So anyone this summer, from Gladys Knight to Alabama Shakes, and the Chicago Symphony for that matter. We try to be a reflection of Chicagoland musically every year in the way we program the season, so that every person in our greater Chicagoland area feels like there's a show they would want to come see.
All right, for that first-time user, for somebody who's never been to Ravinia and they want to get out there, they want to have this experience, we've already told you now, if you use Metra, right, all right, and you buy a ticket for Ravinia, your Metra ride is going to be free. But what else can they expect out there, and what can they bring with them? I know I went to a White Sox game the other day, and I had to call and figure out what I could bring to the game and not bring to the game. But Ravinia is kind of like this experience where you want people to bring stuff and enjoy themselves. What should they expect? So somebody coming for the first time, what can they do?
Yeah, great question. You know, the Ravinia tradition is our lawn, and you can bring whatever you want. So you can bring your chairs, you can bring your blankets, you can bring your cooler. You can bring food and beverage in that cooler, even the liqueurs and the beers. You can bring those. If there's no extra charge, and we don't stop anyone from bringing your picnic to Ravinia. And so the lawn experience is very much our brand. And if you don't want to bring your cooler full of stuff, we also have a couple of restaurants on site, so it's easy. There's some fine dining as well as easy stuff like a lawn bar that you can just walk up to without a reservation. And that is very much the experience. It's beautiful. There's trees. There's lots of landscaping. We're near the lake, so you got a cool breeze, and you can sit down under the stars with your date and take it all in.
You know what? And let me tell you guys this. You are going to see somebody that you know out there on the lawn. And as Eric can tell you, the lawn experience is like a shared experience. You're going to see somebody you know. They're going to have their little table set up and drinks and food. Everybody's sharing with each other. You're going to see somebody you know, and they're going to be like, hey, man, I got some food over here. This is just how it happens. I've been to Ravinia several times, and everybody's out there in a good mood, just sitting in their lawn furniture. Some people on the blankets, just out there chilling. You are bound to see somebody that you know, and the whole spirit of sharing is part of the Ravinia experience as well. Now, is Ravinia for adults only?
Oh no. I mean, we're a multi-generational festival, so we encourage you to bring your parents if you want, bring your children if you want. We have an entire kids series of concerts that happened mostly on Saturdays, but there's about 8 or 10 of those. One in particular is a woman named Divi Rocks. She's Beyonce's bass player. But she has a kids show, and it's really fun and easy. And you roll in with the strollers if you want, and take it all in. But we also do some other multi-generational programming, like Kool and the Gang. They're doing a headlining slot for us at the end of August. We have a Grease sing-along, the Grease film, where we encourage people to come and sing along to the film on the big screen. So. Yeah, and of course the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, you may not feel like you could bring your kids to one of their concerts indoors downtown, but at Ravinia it's really easy with the lawn. The kids can still run around and have a good time while taking in some classical music.
It really is a unique experience, and for any of our WVON listeners, if you have not had this experience, this year is a good year to come on out there, join WVON. We're going to be out there and in the house celebrating Ravinia, and of course we want you to join us out there as well. Now, in terms of do you guys have like seasonal passes that people can buy? Like if they see, more than one show that they want to go to, how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of ways of doing it. You can become a Ravinia member, one of our donors. It's easy to do online, or give us a call and we can set it up for you. And that gets you a 10% discount on all tickets. Or you can just buy the tickets on our website if you'd like, without becoming a member, if that's of interest to you. And those are all available now at ravinia.org is the website to go to. And the whole season is available at the moment.
And you guys do private events there as well. If somebody's interested, if you're a business owner out there, you want to do an event with your employees or other private events, you guys have that availability as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty common, and it's a great way to either bring out a bunch of your friends and have a party, or if you want to bring out your coworkers and do something a little bit more structured, we've got various restaurant spaces and tents on site where we can cater some food in there for you and take care of the tickets as well. So a lot of different ways to celebrate Ravinia.
I understand you guys have a new pavilion as well.
Yeah, that's the big deal for this year. The Hunter Pavilion is unveiling on July 11th with a concert with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and Lizzo on flute. And this is So this is going to be quite the party and quite the celebration. But we have spent the last several years renovating our reserve-seated Hunter Pavilion with new staging, new design, new audio, new lighting, new seats, and those ever popular cup holders. You wouldn't imagine how important it is to have a cup holder these days, but we've got them now. So really excited to share this new space with everyone.
How lucky are we to be Chicagoans, to have these institutions like the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, like Metra, that will take us out to another institution, Ravinia, and WVON. When all of these institutions come together, that's what makes Chicago special. And Eric didn't come here empty-handed, y'all, because he understands the power of radio. He understands the legacy of WVON, the community of WVON. And as he knows, June is Black Music Month. And this year, Ravinia is participating, and you are going to hear some amazing artists, some celebrations and some tributes to artists like Curtis Mayfield and Leontine Price, my brothers and sisters. Can you imagine that? But also, and Michael Jackson, Erykah Badu, Kool and the Gang, as Eric mentioned already, and a bunch of Black musical geniuses. You're going to love it, and you're going to love this. My guest and my brother Eric is about to give away passes to Ravinia. We're going to play a song. Now, this is going to be an easy one for you guys. We're about to play a song. And all you have to do is get these passes is be the first caller to tell us the name of the sitcom, okay, that used this song as their theme. All right. And we're going to play it. And it's the theme song of a very popular TV show that we watched back in the day. All right. You guess the name of that sitcom. Be my first caller at 591, and Eric will give you those Ravinia passes. So Shapira, hit it. Play the song right now. 591-1690. Hey, Eric, this is an easy one for him, right?
Absolutely. Classic song. Classic.
Hey, Eric, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Peoria, Illinois.
Did you really? No kidding, man. There you go.
Yep.
Peoria used to be the hub of American marketers, right? How did it play in Peoria used to be the phrase that all companies use, because you guys were like the test site for breaking new products and all of that. So from Peoria to Chicago to Highland Park to Ravinia, we're going to have a caller call in, and we will announce that caller when we return. Eric Soderstrom, Senior Director of Programming, congratulations on this 2026 lineup that's featuring so much talent. We're going to be sharing that with our WVON listeners and letting you guys know when we're going out there, because we want you to join us, the lawn party, and a lot more. Congratulations, Eric, on another successful, and good luck for another successful Ravinia summer season.
Thank you so much, Matt, for having me on, and for WVON. We love you guys and look forward to Ravinia summer.
All right. I hope to see you out there. I'm going to make some punch or something and bring it out there. And
bring some of that potato salad I know you're known for.
There you go. That's funny. I got a good one. All right, let's take a break here. Right. When we come back, we'll announce our winner and, of course, wrap up today's show. You're listening to The Matt McGill Show, everybody.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's D.L. Hughley.
If it weren't for the Black Panthers, American children wouldn't have free breakfast. Now, I don't know many groups that are only bad that feed children. The Klan only gave us Burning Cross. I guess you could warm your breakfast up on one.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
At United Fidelity Bank, our CD rates aren't just good, they're roaring. Hi, I'm Harry Malone, Vice President and Community President of United Fidelity Bank. Right now, you can open a 6-month certificate of deposit with a 4.15% annual percentage yield. That's a strong, steady way to help your money grow with confidence from the very first day. We know you have options when it comes to where to save. That's why we focus on something bigger than numbers alone. When you bank with us, you're choosing a team that takes the time to understand what matters to you and supports your financial goals with guidance that feels personal, not packaged. We're your local banking partner, committed to delivering the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by and see me and my team today to open your high-yield United Fidelity Bank CD at our Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street, or open your account anytime at unitedfidelity.com.
Rates are subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to a standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
Calling all nonprofit service providers. If you are an executive director, CEO, or development or program director of a local area nonprofit, this one's for you. Meeting the Moment is hosting its first webinar, Big Bill, Big Impact. What funders need to hear from you to avoid service disruption. Taking place Wednesday, June 10th from 11 a.m. until noon. This virtual session will offer participants direct insight into how funding decisions are being shaped and the critical role communication plays in influencing your outcome. We are convening leaders across government, philanthropy, and research to discuss funding priorities, frontline fundraising realities, and how you should be communicating to keep those resources flowing. Hear from Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, researcher Xavier Ramey from Justice Informed, Monique Jones, CEO of Forefront, activist and former CEO of the Knight Foundation, Sol Flores, and Chanel Ritchie of LL Communications. It's an action-packed hour of information that will help you navigate this critical time for nonprofits and provide you with tools you need while managing a changing financial landscape. Our Big Bill, Big Impact webinar is free, but you must register at eventbrite.com. For more information about the Meeting the Moment movement, log on to wvon.com/Meeting the Moment. Meeting the Moment is powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Vaughn TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Vaughn TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. See, that was an easy one for you guys, right? Sanford and Son. I'm trying to think what would have been a more difficult sitcom or show thing. Maybe the Cosby Show. Would everybody have guessed? Because Sanford and Son, that was you guys know that was written by Quincy Jones, I believe. And y'all correct, y'all can cross-reference that and check it up. But I think that was Quincy Jones' song there. That theme song to Sanford and Son. That was an easy one for y'all. James Esco is our winner. So he's getting some passes to Ravinia. And they got a hell of a lineup, man. As Eric mentioned, Lizzo is going to be opening night with Chicago Symphony Orchestra. If you're a Lizzo fan, you're going to love that. Also, I know we got some old schoolers out there that remember Paul Simon. Paul Simon's going to be there. How about this one? See, this might be a WVON one right here. Brian McKnight and Gladys Knight. Are you kidding me? Woo! That might be the one we have to check out, y'all. All right. I don't know. Kool and the Gang, as we mentioned, going to be there with Morris Day and the Time. That is going to be a hell of a show. Morris Day brings it, man. And the Time they bring it, everybody's going to be there doing the bird and dancing. Miranda Lambert. Wait a minute. Snoop Dogg, Snoop D-O-double-G, S to the N, double O-P, Snoop to the D, O-double-G in the house. Erykah Badu with De La Soul in the house. These are some shows here, y'all. I don't even know which, man. We might have to go out there a couple of times. Ziggy Marley is going to be there. And wait a minute. Tom Jones, the one that I love me some Tom Jones, man. This is a hell of a lineup right here, y'all. I love it. And more. I'm sure I'm not even mentioning everybody, but you can go to the Ravinia website and see everybody. That's a hell of a lineup, brother. I am there, man. I'm Terrence Blanchard on Wednesday, June 3rd. With Ravi Coltrane. That's a hell of a show right there. Oh my God. I'm going through the whole list. Kurt Ellington, WVON listeners, you guys are very familiar with Kurt. We're going to be there June 6th and 7th. This is a hell of a lineup, guys. Jazz and classical music. They've got something going on every week, 2 and 3 shows. Nothing like Ravinia in Chicago. Thanks to Eric for coming on. Lizzo with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, man, that's going to be something else. Wait a minute. My man Billy Idol. See, I'm an old school Billy Idol fan. Anyway, everybody share the show right now. Sabrina Hall, Zaviola, thank you, please, and share for me. Pierston Shanks, Morris Day is performing at the White House with Kid Rock. Oh, Lord. That's all right. He's coming to Ravinia, so we're going to have a good time and do that. Let's buy some tickets. Let's have a good time. Let me tell you this, man. You know what they say about life? You're not here for a long time. You're here for a good time. Let's go ahead and have a good time. I love you guys to pieces. Please share the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 noon. I'm going to play a clip tomorrow that's going to blow your mind, so you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. Love you to pieces, guys. Don't go anywhere. Tiba and LaDonna Ray coming up next.
Happy Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. 51 candidates enter race for Chicago School Board. Injury-plagued sky at Sailor Poffenbarger. Tips offered for food safety with grilling season here. And Gayle King's ex-husband apologizes after she recounts past affair. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Returning to the U.S. from African countries impacted by Ebola have their choice of 4 designated entry points. Former President Biden is suing the DOJ. But first, here's BIN News Now.
Vice President J.D. Vance says cracking down on government fraud is critical during an event at the White House.
We're protecting the American taxpayers who shouldn't have their money stolen by fraudsters. And of course, we're protecting the people who need these services.
He revealed investigators uncovered $20 billion in schemes, mostly tied to healthcare, while leading the White House anti-fraud task force. Houston Congressman Al Green's longtime